Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be about how to read a chart and with some Parasara techniques. And this technique is fairly simple and it will show you the paths that a person concentrates on. And there are 4 different paths. There's the Dharmic path, the Artha or wealth path, the Kama or desire path, and the Moksha or enlightenment or liberation path. The most important one is the Dharmic path, and even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna to follow his Swadharma. He goes on and on about it, about following the Dharmic path. And you would think, well, why isn't he telling him to follow the Moksha or enlightenment path? And the fact is because Dharma and Moksha, or inspiration that comes from our innate nature, following our true innate nature, that's Dharma. And also getting away from worldly concerns and trying to become one with the source, that's Moksha. They're really the same thing. You can't have one without the other. Especially the most important thing is to follow our own Dharma and to realize our own innate nature and be completely and totally happy with it and accepting of it without guilt or shame. So that is what that means, to follow one's Dharma. And you can't even hope to reach any type of liberation if you can't live with yourself and you can't accept yourself or forgive yourself. And that's what Dharma is about. It's finding that inspiration that is unique to each individual. Now, the Dharma houses are the 1st house, the 5th house, and the 9th house. The 1st house is us, our individual self, okay? And what I was just talking about. The 5th house is our creative intelligence and our ability to create, like when we create children, but also something that we create from our own inspiration. The 9th house is following an ideal, or dedicating ourselves to something greater than us, like an ideal, a philosophical ideal, or a marriage, because a marriage is greater than us as an individual, and the 9th house rules the marital bond and marriage. Or our parents, which is the 9th house, represents our parents in totality, our experience of both of our parents. And most people go with the, spiritual ideal, philosophical ideal, that kind of thing. So now the angles, the 1st house is also an angle. It's a trine and an angle. And the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th, those are angular houses. Those are the places of action. That's where we take action. Okay? And so if you have moksha lords or trinal lords, if you have trinal lords, the 1st, 5th, or 9th in places of action, your actions are going to be taken in following Dharma or following your innate nature, your inspiration. Those are called Dharmic yogas, and that's in Parasara. And that's the best, most successful yogas that can be produced. This is in the Parasara system. So when you have trinal lords in angles, or if you have angular lords in trines, those are Dharmic yogas. And usually the person will follow their inspiration and will try to realize their innate nature and come to terms with it completely. Okay? The Moksha houses are the 4th house, which corresponds to the 4th sign of Cancer, the 8th house corresponding to Scorpio, and the 12th house corresponding to Pisces. Now, Moksha is about getting away from worldly responsibilities. You can do that in a constructive way, or you can do that in a destructive way. The constructive way is following some type of spiritual path, prayer, meditation, chanting, what have you. Getting away from worldly concerns in that way. Another way to do it is to be in prison. Prisoners don't have worldly responsibilities. Everything is taken care of for them. Their food, their shelter, everything. Or drug addiction. That's another way. Any type of addiction. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it's getting away from worldly responsibilities and kind of dissolving into some type of fantasy world. And that is also, a moksha houses. People who have a lot of moksha in their chart, but no dharma, they usually can be self-destructive and shun their worldly responsibilities. Okay. Now, if you have moksha lords and angles, if you have the fourth lord in the fourth house, that's a moksha house, and it's also an angle. So if you have the fourth lord, the fourth house, the person is concentrating on or taking action to move away from worldliness into a more into something, meditation or a destructive way. But usually if the fourth lord is in the fourth house, that means it's in its own house, and those are high dignity planets, and they will work very well. Okay? The Kama houses are the 3rd, the 7th, and the 11th. The 3rd house is hobbies and desires to enjoy oneself through hobbies. The 7th house is a desire for a partner or in being loved by someone who is important to us. And the 10th house is our power and prestige and reach in the world, our power in the world, and how we do that. Usually that is through a career, which is the 10th house, and how we want to use our skills to further our power in the world. These are no, I'm sorry, not the 10th. The 10th is a wealth house. The 11th house is a Kama house or a desire house, and the 11th house has to do with being accepted by our peers, being admired by our peers, receiving awards for our hard work, receiving accolades or titles. That's another thing the 11th house is. Desire for that prestige in society. That's the 11th house. So when angle lords are in those houses, or when those lords are in angles, we take action towards desire, or Kama, as they say. So that's a really simple way to kind of look at the chart and see what type of path the person is on. If you have a dual sign rising, meaning if you have Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, or Sagittarius rising as the ascendant, then you only have to look at 2 planets usually that the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. It'll be Jupiter and Mercury, or and all the other signs will have 4 planets: Saturn, Venus, Mars, and either the Sun or the Moon as angular lords. So that's something you have to look at. You have to look at where those angular lords are placed and what are in angles, what type of lords are in angles, and that will show you more or less the type of path the person is following and what they take action in their life to manifest. Okay, this is a real simple one and pretty easy. So I'm going to give a few more quick videos about snapshot techniques that you can look at. I just did one before with the Jaimini technique, and then there's this one, and then I'll do a few more with Parasara techniques. Okay, so thank you for watching, and if you like my video, please press the like button, and also if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.